So me and Melissa kind of talked about creating content, and you're either receiving content or absorbing content, or you're creating content, and I think we both would rather be creating content. And everybody knows that Greg is super entertaining. So, basically Batman vs Superman with Wonder Woman in the middle. So,
and hopefully this will be the first of
regulating everything.
Talking to coaches and also talking to members, learning more about our members, what they do outside of the gym, learning more about our coaches inside and outside of the gym. So,
Episode 1.
Episode 1. Gotta start somewhere. So,
It's an honor.
Thank you, Greg, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Being.
Okay, why don't y'all start from the beginning? How the two of you met?
do you remember when we met? Do you remember?
I do.
What were we doing, Greg?
I feel like you were on the street and I was like fighting that guy. Flying around, fighting that guy in the high rise. Is that how Batman vs Superman starts?
That is how Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice begins.
Just for all of your references, have any of you ever seen Ben and Batman in the same room? Because I haven't. Have you
Why
seen
don't you start with, where did the Batman Superman thing start? Like, when did that start with y'all? How did that start with y'all?
It might have came up the first time we met.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Well, now you can start there, I guess, again.
There's a chimney at that abandoned building across the street from the gym where bats fly in and out of at night. And I'm wondering if that's where you store your equipment.
What we're really finding out here is Greg doesn't remember the first time we met, so he's making up a story for the plot of Batman vs Superman.
No, it's at the fire department. We were testing. You were working a trade or floated over to another station, and
I was.
we were both on
ladder testing.
We were both on ladder trucks at the time.
What year is this?
When did you come out of training?
It had to be summer 17.
2017.
It had to be
Okay.
summer 17.
So 2017, I guess. We're testing ladders for the fire department. Every year they have to test them, make sure they're still suitable for us to use and this and that. And there he was. Just standing there.
What were your first impressions?
This guy needs a bigger t-shirt. Medium. No, I think we started catching up and talking and found out we knew some mutual friends like Will Hall, Mike Priest, some of those guys. He said he coached Brandon Fulwider, yeah.
We started talking about CrossFit.
Started around CrossFit. You said, I remember said, what do you do for your part-time job? You said, I do a little bit of coaching. I said, I knew what he was talking about, but I was trying to play close. What kind of coaching? He's like, CrossFit coach. And I said, oh, that's cool. I'm a coach as well. I was still working at a CrossFit gym in Greensboro. So, and we, it was pretty brief that time, right?
Yeah, we were on different trucks and just, I think we were doing service tests or something.
Yeah.
I might have done all that truck, I can't remember.
What were your first impressions of Greg?
He had a mustache, Mario and Luigi.
Had a mustache?
Yeah,
it must have been November then.
You were, no, it was definitely, I feel like it was definitely in the summer.
The only time I've ever done a mustache is November. I was not rocking a mustache in the summer. I'll be told to keep 500 feet away from a school.
And then we worked together at a fire station. Both of us, I think, on a hireback or a trade or something.
Hireback or flip something.
Yep.
Station 41. Neither of us were signed there.
There was a sign there right in the back of the truck. No, that's the bike team, and neither one of us authorized to ride a bike.
Yep. You guys got training wheels.
Yeah. We worked out, and that was pretty much hung out all day together that day.
Yeah.
There's no working out. We did split jerks, and then bodybuilding.
Yeah. your stuff, my stuff.
Yeah, it's a fairly quieter station, so we just hung out all day. I don't know if we watched movies or what we did.
You had just had Cal, right? Or she was on the way, or?
No, she was here. She was here. Yeah, she was little. Yeah.
And then when did y'all see each other again after that?
You moved to Winston.
I did.
Yeah, you moved to Winston. When did you move to Winston?
I moved to Winston. Grew up here. Was born here. Got hired at the fire department in Greensboro in 2013.
How old were you when you got hired in the fire department?
was 20, I believe. 20,
Wow.
turned 21 in training, maybe it was 21, turned 22, pretty young. After living here in community a couple years, I started renting a house out there from a captain I knew. Lived out there, started coaching out there. That's how I met Brandon Fulwider. He was trying to get on the fire department. He was coaching one of my classes, saw me wearing a fire department t-shirt and kind of hit it off.
He was coaching it.
He was coaching at CrossFit
CrossFit
Greensboro.
Greensboro.
Yep, that's where
Oh,
he's
I
coaching.
didn't know
Yep.
that.
Bruce and John,
Mhm.
real good guys out there. They're one of the first CrossFit gyms in the area, I believe, back in the day.
Probably one of the first ones in the state.
Yeah. Then moved back to Winston 2018, October 2018, I believe. And then went through a brief period of time where I kind of stopped training CrossFit, just did strength work, Olympic lifting, got the YMCA. Brandon and I started hanging out more because he was living in Winston. He brought me to a couple classes here. Started training CrossFit again. I was kind of getting looks from people like, who's this guy? Like, I think like Will Hall was like the manager then, or it was pretty much like some guy walked in off the street and was like clean and jerking 275 or something like that in a class. You know what I mean? Just like you don't see that as often. And they were kind of like, obviously I had a long way to go and still do, but I think it was like Ben was coaching one of the classes and Chris and I were kind of going head to head. Like people were kind of wondering like if I'd trained
Who's
before.
this guy?
Yeah, and Brandon got me a coaching job here after like dropping in a couple times because I wanted to continue.
Quick note: without Brandon, neither one of us would be here.
That's right. Yep.
Neither one of us would be here.
Yep. I went to him.
What did Brandon do for you?
Brandon hired me, brought me on. That's when Mike Priest left here and went to the Army. There was an opening, and Brandon pulled me on the team. So shout out to Brandon Fulwider.
Yep. Baby daddy now. Life's gonna change. Yep.
Life is gonna change.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah.
remember you coached, I think it was one of your first classes, you coached
Coached you.
me.
Mhm.
And I didn't know who you were, I didn't know how to snatch, and you gave me great cues. I think it was like a training bar or PVC, I don't know. But I remember writing Brandon after, and I was like, I don't know who that was, but please tell that person
I remember that. That meant a lot
that
to
I
me.
really appreciated his coaching and hope he comes back. And
Oh, yeah.
here you are, over 2 years later.
And here you are, 2 years later, best athlete we have in the gym probably. So, yeah.
Okay.
How did you get here, Ben?
Man.
You're born in New York. You know this.
Born and raised in East North Carolina. I did spend a little time in New York for the military. Came down here. I met Will Hall back in 2012 at a competition down in Fayetteville. Didn't know how to do handstand push-ups. I remember Will trying to teach me how to do handstand push-ups during the event. That was fun. Followed him on social media a little bit. Saw him killing some of the local comps. Got out of the military. Moved down here. Got a job in the fire department. Will had his own gym at the time. Started kind of coaching with him a little bit. Getting my feet wet. And graduated Fire Academy, had a little girl, and then
Calbear.
Will took the head coaching position here at Top Tier. I bounced around a little bit training, trying to figure out life balances, and then Brandon took the GM position here. Then Mike went to the Army, started coaching. Really realized how much I enjoy coaching the community here. The competitive atmosphere here is different than just about any gym I've been in. As far as the day-to-day athletes, the people that are there for open gyms that are trying to be competitive, but the competitive atmosphere for the athletes in the classes to me is different in this facility than it's any other facility I've ever trained at. And that's not a knock on any other facility. It's just different. It's just a different atmosphere for the day-to-day athletes, which I really enjoyed. Just because it was, the guy working 9 to 5, or an entrepreneur like coming in here and, PR his push jerk today. So that was kind of cool. And then Top Tier went through a few different GMs, and just one thing led to another. Had a great opportunity from Eric and Brendan Shea to kind of come on and just get my feet wet again from the business perspective, and then opportunity to take the reins per se. And here we are. Having episode 1.
Taking the reins of the gym like you took the reins of the NASCAR track.
Yeah,
NASCAR. You left that part out.
Gosh. Yeah, let's not go there.
No.
Okay, Will Hall. First of all, Brandon Fulwider and Will Hall are
Yep.
2 names that keep getting brought up.
Yep.
What do you feel like is the most valuable thing you learned from each of them? Or like the most valuable takeaway that you have from each of them?
It's a great question.
Some of the best coaching advice Will ever gave me, one was the fact he took time to coach another competitor how to do handstand push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And then he called it the Oreo style of coaching. Like start with a compliment, like something you do well, like something the athlete is doing well.
Compliment sandwich.
Compliment sandwich. Oreo, yeah, sure.
No, you got
Next
Oreo
week
stuff.
you said
Church
next
order,
week.
man.
Oreos. Yeah, it is my stuff.
Well,
Start with a compliment just because like most athletes are doing most things well, but they focus on the negative. Tell them what they're doing well, tell them that one thing they need to improve, and then reassure them that they're doing well.
mm-hmm.
And that just, that was from early on at Blue Rock that just stuck with me. And again, taking the time to coach a fellow competitor, like that's what it's about. Like you're not really trying to beat anybody else's score. You're trying to beat your score. You're trying to get fitter for yourself. Because I can't control what you deadlift, but I control what I do.
Or bench press.
Or bench press. Or squat. I can't control any of it. All I control is what I do. So that's kind of from Will.
Calf raise.
The biggest takeaway I have from him.
Yeah. What about Brandon?
Brandon just the opportunity. He didn't have to give me the coaching job here. I'm sure there's other people that were probably more qualified, more experienced. Just grateful for that opportunity. And Brandon, I still will coach a class. Like if I feel myself slipping or not paying attention or daydreaming or my ADHD kicking in, I just imagine Brandon's there watching me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know.
Those are 2 solid guys in and out of the gym. Some of the best people I know. I've met some of my favorite people either at the fire department or through the CrossFit community. Just in my career at both. Learn a lot about yourself when you're surrounded by people that really are just motivated individuals, and they do it but not talking about themselves or bragging about themselves. They just exude like a presence you want to be around. I think both of them do that. I used to tell Brandon, I still do. I think he's retired from coaching. He's got a baby now. He was the goat coach. He was goat, greatest of all time. That expression, and that's not to take away from any of our coaches here or any coaches in other cities. Like his style, and it was the old school CrossFit. He was in the game when it was first starting. It's changed some now, obviously. But also, I kind of look at him as like an older brother. He looks younger than all of us probably, but he's obviously just turned 40. I always look at him as an older brother. We've been through a lot together. Both taking on the jiu-jitsu stuff together. It's a whole nother realm of life that's changed me in a good way, I think. So been through that with him, and just an all-around motivating person. Just gonna highlight your goods, give you good advice, but it's not BS. Just gonna keep it real with you. So definitely one of my favorite people. Will was, whether I say it to you guys or to anybody else, like he was definitely like a mentor to me. In and outside of the gym, I feel like I only got to know him before he moved. We probably were boys for a couple of years total, like from when I started coaching the top tier till he just moved to North Dakota back in maybe March of 2020. Actually spoke to him on the phone the other day. He's doing well up there. Ingrid's growing up, his daughter, everybody's doing well. But Will kind of took me under his wing, not intentionally, but I just felt like that, and let me start training with the studs of the open gym days, the old days. So that consisted of Ben, Evan, also Will. I think during the summer, Hayden, some of the other fellows would come train just pretty much during the summertime when they had didn't have a job, that they had to be at work during the day. And I was opened up to a whole new style of training. Like I thought I was a good athlete coming here, and I was quickly humbled that I had a long way to learn, a lot to do. But just we did like a morning session, and then like he coached. We did an afternoon session, and I remember thinking that what we did that morning session was more than I would do in a typical day ever. You know, and then trying to do all the heavy lifting and all that afterwards. So definitely learned a lot about training for the sport, but also just a true leader in here. One of those people that didn't have to try to act like he was in charge or anything like that. People just looked at him as a leader. His style of coaching, I think, is his own. I tried to learn some from him, obviously, with that. But Will was somebody I could talk to and ask for advice on stuff, in or outside of here, obviously, and just one of the most probably raw people you'll ever meet. Like, he doesn't care if you're offended by what he says or not. Like, he's gonna tell it how it is, and I think that's a quality that's phasing out these days. So, like, a good quality to have that. But just two great people, and he kind of speaks to what Ben was saying about the intensity of this gym, like how competitive this gym is and still is. Continues to be from the days when he was here to now when you guys took over. So I think we've all been impacted positively by both of those guys. So
yeah, I mean, I think as a member, I think about Brandon and Will and just how they always like took the extra time to give me extra cues or like give me cues during open gym. Brandon genuinely cared about people meeting their goals, and Will, I remember I was working on getting strict pull-ups, and I had like 3 strict pull-ups, and my goal was to get 10 strict pull-ups, and I worked on it. And the day I got 10 strict pull-ups, I remember saying, I got 10 strict pull-ups, and he was like, A, were they really strict? He was always like calling people out, I mean, in a good way, like holding you to a standard, and B, he was like, okay, what's next? Like, he was just good about always like pushing to the next level, like, and not just settling for like, okay, I can do 10 strict pull-ups, but he was like, now, what are you gonna work on next? And so I think Will was always pushing himself and then pushing other people to a higher standard. So I always appreciated that about him.
yeah, definitely holds himself to those standards too.
Super, yeah, exactly. It was consistent with how he trained. So, yeah.
I've never met an Olympic weightlifter that looked for a bar that didn't spin.
He had his routines. He had his
Wait,
man,
so
he had
for
it.
the
He had his
lay
warm-up
person, what
routine.
does that mean?
So Olympic weightlifting, you want your bar to spin. The better the bar spins, the more efficient your technique is, the easier the lift will be. Will was a nationally ranked weightlifter, so that's great technique. And he would look for a bar that didn't spin because it would force him to, like, everything had to be perfect. Technique had to be better, had to be stronger through the positions. Like, never met anybody like that.
Yeah.
Why? Blew my mind every single time he did that.
Snatch
What do you do?
more than most people would clean and jerk in here.
Most athletes,
Most
most
athletes.
advanced athletes
Yeah.
will clean and jerk. So yeah.
But
It's
he
still blows my
can
mind.
still move though. That's the thing. Big boy, muscle.
That's funny. How much do you think Will weigh?
I think Will is about 225 with probably some abs. Lean.
I don't know about that. We'll get his opinion
He
on
wasn't
that.
as ripped as
Will,
the
if you
old
watch
Batman.
this, please leave
Yeah,
a
we are
comment.
watching Will.
He was ripped up.
He's a big boy.
He was.
The question here about
He's got the assault bike memorized like a calculator.
That's a fact.
speaking of, and that, I mean, you recently changed your training goal. I feel like you did Squattober and then December, and you were focusing on putting on weight and deadlifting more. What are your training goals?
Yes, good question. Good question.
You really expected it. It's on the
Yes,
board.
no, that's a good.
It's on the board.
I think
Right here.
over the past roughly 6 months, I've reevaluated kind of my goals through training in here, mixed martial arts gym, rolling, all that good stuff. Ben and I, obviously firefighters, we have to take into account our sleep schedule is different than most people's. 24 hours on, 48 hours off. You might sleep all night, you might be up all night, you just never know. And like, basically I've lived that lifestyle for the past 8, going on 9 years now, so it takes a toll on you, you get used to it obviously, but we're not able to recover maybe as quick as someone who's sleeping in their own bed every night.
Well, I mean,
full 8 hours.
we can't get into a really good ritual. You know, some people that are training for competitiveness or just for life, whatever. You know, one of the
that's hard enough. It's not gonna hurt it.
Is going to sleep at the same time, but more importantly, waking up at the same time. And with our schedule, it's next to impossible.
Yeah.
You know, you can have this great training session planned out. It isn't super intense or anything, but at the fire department, something comes up and it doesn't happen. And you just got to be adaptable.
Yeah. And we're not saying that at all as an excuse.
No,
right?
it's
It's more
life.
just like
It's
take
life.
ownership of
Well,
that.
it's a factor in
Yeah.
your training.
You gotta keep it in mind. You know, Ben and I are both big Jocko fans. Extreme ownership, take ownership of everything that's going wrong in your life. Don't blame other people for that. That does no good. Like, you look at yourself, take ownership of that, and it'll change your life. And we can go on a whole other story about all this, but I started trying to look at what is my intent of training, my intent of a workout, my intent of like what I'm going to try to do this week, not just like going through the motions. But you know, we talked about the training I was doing with Will, Ben, all those guys during the open gym times. I was trying to keep up with them doing 2-a-day sessions, 3 to 5 days a week, depending on our fire schedule, and then going and training Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, something at night, or in the morning before that. I would go do a morning session with them on the assault bike. While they're eating lunch and coaching, I'd go over to a noon rolling session, do Jiu-Jitsu for an hour, come back, maybe eat a protein bar on the way, come back and try to lift with them. And then at night I might go do Muay Thai or something, and just like, just wearing my body down. And it was almost the mindset of like, more is better, like, you know, stay tough with this, don't quit, all this and that. And that wasn't going on every day, but you accumulate that over a year-long period or longer, and I think it starts to wear on your body, your results start going down, central nervous system's getting wrecked all the time. So fast forward to back in June, July, I did a competition in Myrtle Beach with Jake, DK, Hayden, and myself, 4-person guy team.
Posted Uptown Beach Town Throwdown.
Yep, yep.
Great competition.
Great
Highly
team.
recommend it.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun. One of the most fun
Throw
I've
that out
had.
there, we'll tag. We'll make sure we tag
Tag
them.
them in it, yeah,
Tag
yeah.
them in the video.
Oh yeah, great competition. All outdoors, puts a different element to it in the sun,
Great
track. But
You did that.
I did it 2 years. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
individual, team, and then just team.
take the dub.
I took second and individual. Retired from that because realized I was not going to get sitting on the podium anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Old and washed up. And
No.
then tried to be on a team, and yeah, we the Bambi Legs team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, took first both years.
Yep.
So.
It's like what your first time on the podium was it?
Continue
They
to
set
story
at
about
500.
training. Continue to story about training.
All right. So we did that comp, had a great time. Realized after that though, I was starting to experience a little bit of burnout though. Just in general, like just tired all the time, wondering if something's wrong with my sleep. Like I actually went and got a sleep study done. Wondering if like, you know, why am I just never energized, have the energy to do anything, you know. Just kind of reevaluated. Actually spoke to Tom Nixon, one of our members here, Twin City Health. Tom had put on a
Real quick,
yeah.
I think every single one of us have been to Twin City Health and had great results.
Oh, yeah.
So highly recommend that.
Great people.
Great people and know what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Tom, Dr. J, and Dr. T.
Yep.
And all the staff. Great,
100%.
great folks. Highly.
Great customer care.
Great customer care.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. No, I kind of told him about what was going on. He said, well, I'm actually doing like a podcast on like men's just health in general, this and that. Kind of watched that. Pretty quickly kind of realized like, hey, a lot of what I'm doing is like overtraining. He actually recommended I get my testosterone levels checked. Got those checked. I'm 29 now. You should be fine. They were much lower than what they should have been, and I think we pretty much traced that to all I was doing, and it just was like running everything into the ground. So pretty much came up with a new training plan for the next few months. It meant something I decided to do is on the days, like have a dedicated day that you're gonna do your fight stuff. It's a hobby of mine. Obviously, don't want to ever go pro or anything. It's just a hobby. And on those days, you're taxing your central nervous system a lot. You know, it's like doing a hard metcon. So on those days, don't do a metcon. You know, just keep it simple. You can lift some if you want. Come in here and train a little bit of lifting, but You know, if you're over there breathing heavy for an hour, you've got that stimulus, so your intent should not be hit that again later on. So then on days when I don't have that, those are the days when you want to attack, maybe a Metcon or so. Listening to your body more, like, okay, we were up on a fire for 4 hours last night. Maybe don't go in the gym tomorrow and expect to snatch 225. You know what I mean? Like, don't be so hard on yourself that, you know, this and that. And also kind of understanding a better concept of training percentages, which you also do a good job of putting those in. I think a lot of athletes overlook them. They might see 3 sets of 5 deadlifts, and they're like, I'm going to do the heaviest weight I can do for 5 reps.
All right, so real quick, let me go into that. So I follow the programming that I write for the gym. I'm no longer trying to be super competitive. I'm just trying to, you know, general physical preparedness and everything. Doing the deadlifts yesterday, you know, it was 3 sets of 5. My 3 sets of 5 was supposed to be at 415. I did a set of 5 at 405, felt super heavy. Did a set at 415, felt really heavy. I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm at the fire department. I don't want to wear myself out for a potential fire or anything, other emergency situation. I was like, let's, you know, I haven't done this at 435 in a long time since my knee surgery. Let's just go ahead and throw 435 on there and pull it for a single, see how it feels. And pulling for a single felt great. And I was like, I'm done for the day. And that's fine. It's listening to your body. So yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying. Like, listen to your body. Just because like I write something or anybody else writes something or you got to stick to the program perfectly, like that doesn't work when you have other factors like life get involved. So I 100% agree with that.
100%. Yeah, no. A lot of us, I think we all have an ego, whether we want to admit it or not. Like, it's the expression, leave the ego at the door. Like, it's a great saying, but we all have our own ego, whether it's competing against each other. I know some of the most competitive people I've ever met in here. Cough, cough, red dog. But also, like, you know, we also are competing against ourselves. Like, our goal should be, we want to be the best version of ourselves we can be, whether that's in the gym or outside of the gym. But speaking inside the gym, like, I know, man, I did this weight, this last time I did this, I should be able to do that or more. Just like go, go, go. The truth is, like, nobody cares what you deadlifted. Like, nobody cares what you deadlifted last time you did 3 sets of 5. You know, nobody's going to even remember, much less the next day. You'll remember, but nobody else does. So you can't do this to impress, try to be impressing other people or be lifting the heaviest weight in the room or having the fastest time. Like, obviously, that's good goals to make yourself better. But if sacrificing good form and your recovery for the next few days by doing that, it's not worth it in the long run. I don't feel like, you know. But
well, we can differentiate there between general physical preparedness (GPP) and then competitive fitness.
Yes.
Like, there's a huge difference there that I think most people and most gyms neglect to talk about, and that's something I want to become very common here. Like, that we talk about, that we're aware of. So yeah.
And there's, like, we can talk about with that as well. Like, if you have, all right, you're doing a CrossFit comp in May of 2021, like, all right, let's come up with a game plan of how to peak in May of 2021. Like, you're not going to be training the same from, you know, June 2020 till May 2021. You know,
well,
it's like,
all right, so yeah, let's the Hybrid Unlimited podcast with Steffi Cohen, Hayden Moe, and then Matt Frazier and Sam Nixon just on. And Matt Frazier's talking about, hey, you know, every day when he first started training CrossFit in like 2012, 2013, every day you try to be the fittest you could be.
Yes.
Like, there was no peaks and valleys. It was every day the fittest you could be, the best you could be every single day, and that's not sustainable for anybody. So, you know, if the fittest man in history in the world is doing this, like this periodization, this peak performance type of training, then if you're training for a competition, like you said, May of 2021, and not general physical preparedness, then yes, you absolutely need to be
100%.
peaks and doing different cycles.
Yep.
And so for the gym right now, the way I'm writing the programming, and the way I'm doing the programming is I want to peak for the open. Again, taking that ego into effect or my pride or whatever it may be. Like, I want to compare myself to other firefighters, other dads, you know, just everybody in my category, because I'm not trying to qualify for a sanctional or, you know, the games, but I want to know that I got fitter in 2020 than I was in 2019.
Yes.
You know, so that test is 2021. So that's what we're, you know, we're peaking for the first, you know, the 3 weeks in March. That is the open. So. You know, that's something that I'll nerd out on for hours about, you know, competition and design and, you know, but again, it's being honest with cracking my head. It's hard.
Yeah, that's good.
But,
so yeah, your training goal.
Bam Bam here.
Well, you didn't finish.
What is your goal? What is on the board?
Yeah.
And
what is on the
hear
board?
from you.
Like I said, we had that comp in June, July. we talked about Will earlier, talked to him about kind of a new game plan. He gave me some tips, kind of realized, I need to come up with different, like day one, and do martial arts, day two, strength, this and that.
No, make sure, no, check it. Make sure.
Good, checking the time.
Wonder Woman laying on the law.
Oh yeah, she's
I'm
regulated.
texting during the podcast.
Yeah, no, but pretty much wrap it up. Decided like, hey, I'm gonna break these training days up. Hopefully feel better, recover better. October came around, so Sorenex released this program. There wasn't much of a game plan as far as what's the program I'm going to follow. It's basically a squat program where you squat Monday through Friday. It incorporates other, mostly powerlifting movements in there. I ended up telling one of our downtown members, Brad, about it. Or she was downstairs, like, one of the gym members, Brad Smart, great guy. He was already kind of lifting some in that kind of way, like there's compound movements, not a lot of Olympic lifting. He was very interested in it. Saw day one, liked it a lot. Was able to recruit a handful of the noon PM, 12 PM class, as well as like a couple other of his friends, and they we all kind of started doing it together. Like they do it every day here. I do it the days I was at the station. Put on a good amount of leg strength, kind of regained some strength that I felt like I had lost. And it was a lot of volume so that you weren't really needing to do anything extra as far as, CrossFit, because you were just smoked at the end of it. Hit a good PR at the end of the month. Everybody in there PR'd. We all kind of had a good time. Did a little bit of that kind of training. Did a little more Olympic lifting in November. December came around. They had the Dead December program, deadlifting every day for the same people. Wound up PR in my deadlift by 74 pounds from the last time I attempted it. So hit 500 back in like May at my buddy DK's garage, and then used that number throughout the training program, following percentages like we hit on, and then pulled like 574 in here that day, which is pretty cool. I think seeing that big of an improvement, I think it attested a lot to following a program, whether it's the class program or whatever you stick to, and then also, looking at external circumstances, what's going on in your life, listening to your body, all that good stuff we talked about, and then kind of made the goal that I want to hit a 600 deadlift and a sub 6 minute mile in the same day, just to kind of test both aspects of the human body. Like, can you be quick and move a lot of weight, not just be really good at one, which goes back to obviously CrossFit, being good at everything, And I've already hit a sub 6 mile before, but not at the weight I'm at now, so I like to kind of find a good balance, but kind of gearing more of my training, to answer your question, like towards being functionally fit in my job, in here obviously for a hobby, and also for like the mixed martial arts stuff, jiu-jitsu, being able to use that as a strength. So being able to do pretty much whatever life throws at you, which I think is all of our goals, whether it's the soccer mom or the lawyer, doctor, teacher, whoever's working out here during the day, and be the best version of yourself you can be. So that's it.
Yeah.
Kind of reevaluating what I was doing, not just doing
Well,
everything.
I don't train very rarely, but I do train 2 days now. I feel good most mornings, so that's kind of my goal. Can I pick up my daughter without pain? Having essentially what is arthritis in my left knee, and very likely in my right knee. Like, what can I still do to one, combat that, and then still feel like a fit dad or a fit firefighter, or be an example in the gym.
Oh yeah.
Because my goal isn't to be the fittest in the gym anymore. Like 3 years ago, that was definitely my goal, to be the best.
You're already the best looking. So be the fittest and just taking the cake.
So it's just I just want to enjoy it. I want to see, I want to enjoy my fitness, like where I be getting outdoors and doing things, or like I said, picking up my daughter. It's like the priority for me is just being there for her. So I want to enjoy it, and I want to express that through the open, or just day to day. The members. I don't want somebody to have to ask me what my philosophy is on training. I want them to see me embody it. That takes time and explaining to do, and that's what I'm here for the long haul.
Oh yeah.
So
I think, like to tell anybody this, like, listen to your body. If you are a regular athlete, like anybody who comes in here, I consider an athlete. Like, you don't have to be a professional athlete to be an athlete. Like, I hit on like my testosterone levels being low. It's because like I was something I knew something was like putting me into the ground. Like, why am I so tired looking back? Well, duh, you're training 7 hours a day on some of these off days. Like anybody would feel like that, but like backing off of training, like we got those numbers retested and they were like through the roof.
I mean, it goes back to something we Melissa talk about all the time, essentialism. Look by Victor Cowan. Yeah, less is more, like she just said. So real quick, what are your goals?
Yes.
What are your goals? What do you,
Yes, Wonder Woman.
what do you want?
Mom of
What do you
3.
want to train? Mom of 3.
This is not
Business
on
owner.
the board.
Oh yeah.
Okay, training goals. No one said it was just mine and Greg's.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What do you want?
what do I want? I mean, I think that walking in here 2+ years ago, I think most people would agree that the work that you do in here hopefully informs what you're like outside the gym. So I always want to be the best version of myself for my family and those around me and my other job. And so, but I do feel sometimes a little like lost with, but not lost, but just, do you want to be fitter? Do you want to get your snatch stronger? I just feel like there's such a long list of things that I want to get better at, and that's one of the reasons why I love CrossFit, is that there's always something to get better at, work on. It's always humbling, and it keeps me coming in every day. But I think a current goal is to get stronger in some of the Olympic lifts, the clean and jerk and the snatch. But I think I'm 38, I have 3 kids, like I'm in it for the long game. So I want to stay healthy and I want my hips to feel good, my body to feel good. I don't want to hurt myself. And so when we talk about essentialism, like I am thinking a lot about, I put my goal downstairs as like this idea of less is more. I think a lot of times I'm like, I have to train more, I have to do more, and that's like you said, it's not always better. So listening to my body, working on sleep hygiene, working on the other factors in my life that impact training. So but yeah,
Going back to mother of 3, like obviously you have your hands full outside of the gym, but you still manage to get like 1 to 2 workouts in during the week, like a day during the week. Obviously you train, you follow the class programming. Like a lot of people don't have time to work out, they say, and like a lot of people don't have 2 days off every 3rd day, but like you make it a priority and like you get it done. You know what I mean? Like you're in here every day at 5:30, working out, training in the afternoon if you have time from work. Like that's a good example. And you have 3 kids, you're married, you got to work on all that. Like focus on everything going around, but you're still able to focus on your training and not just like get through the workouts, but actually improve. Like look at where you were 2 years ago, like when we met. Like you said, I coached that first class. Now you're like you're a humble person. You wouldn't want me to say this, but like winning competitions that you've done, like winning class workouts, just smoking people. You know what I mean? So
determination, consistency, hard work, and perseverance. You know what I mean? You can't beat that because no matter how many times you get knocked down, you can get back up. And I think Melissa embodies that.
Oh yeah.
But what I will say when you talk about that is that, and I was talking to Brett Smart about this the other day, that there is a piece, I think, especially as a parent or any person, but I think that there's like a healthy selfishness that comes with prioritizing your training, self-care, and I think as a lot of moms struggle with this like guilt of like, if I'm in the gym, then I'm not with my kids. But I think the work that I do in here, like I said, helps me be a better mom. And so I think it is important to prioritize yourself, kind of protect that time, put your oxygen mask on first, like some people say, before you can help other people. So I think self-care is important.
Then, as you said yesterday, you're able to pour into them
Exactly.
in a better way.
Right, exactly. Because if I'm running on empty and I have no bandwidth, then I'm useless for everybody else. But if I am able to do something restorative for myself, then I'm able to pour into other people. So
I guess I got a question for both of you. 2020, obviously, everybody knows, very challenging year. You both took ownership of this gym during that time, correct? Yeah. Like probably the most challenging climate to ever encompass a small business. Like,
what's the question?
Yeah.
I mean, you're stating facts. What's the question?
Yeah.
What's the question?
what I guess what changes have you seen go into the gym that have made it continue to thrive and grow and be a place people keep coming back to? Like, I think that speaks to the leadership from the top, though, you know. So obviously we have a good team of coaches here, but
yeah, I mean, I think, okay, so to quote or to paraphrase, good to great. Like, you gotta get the right people on the bus. Like, you gotta get the right people on the bus, and you gotta get the right people in the right seats, and then you gotta figure out where you're going. We know that we want the best gym as we define it, and you know that would be creating a diverse group of athletes, you know, who feel safe and comfortable coming here to do, you know, whatever their goals are, whether that be from the, you know, the competitive exerciser or somebody that, you know, wants to pick up their kids or wants to play with their grandkids, whatever it is. Like, we want to have that and offer that for everybody. That's what I try to do through the programming, you know, offering more than one path, offering 3 different options, essentially 3 different types of programming options for people. I think the biggest thing for me is okay, I decided to do this because my daughter is my priority. Like, was I pretty fit before and like competitive? Yes, but like, what legacy did I want to leave? And it wasn't my competitive fitness legacy. You know, go back to, again, Eddie Cohen, one of the greatest powerlifters of all time, if not the greatest.
To the day.
I know. Words are hard with ADHD. You know, he was like, it's not going to matter what your world record total is or what your total is. Like, people are going to remember how you made them feel and what difference you made as a coach. So I had to take a step back, you know, limit my training because like I wanted to pour myself into creating the culture that we wanted here. Like I said, the culture here was already amazing. Like the competitiveness of each everyday athlete with themselves, and we wanted to kind of stoke that fire and create, you know, not only what's your hour in here is, but how do the other 23 hours stack up. So that's kind of what we wanted to create our own brand, like take from people that are doing a great job in the arena, but then take what they, you know, learn from all of them, but not copy them, like make it our own. And that's been the biggest thing for me, is taking what Ben may think is best for Ben's training, but then so take my 10 years of experience in competitive fitness, my 4 years before that in the military, you know, the competitive high school athletics, like what works long term for people and what can keep people in the game long term where they're constantly improving. You know, Leonidas was 60 years old when he led the Spartans against the Persians at Thermopylae. Like, that's amazing. We don't see that in this day and age. So what can we do here at our facility to create a legacy that is empowering people in the world across a broad spectrum? And that's, you know, that's what I think we've been trying to do for the last 6 months now. I don't know if I
But also being dynamic, though, you know, like having to adapt to the external circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, very real. Adapt and overcome, right? Like, you gotta adapt and overcome. You can't be stagnant. You know, if you're not moving forward, you're probably stagnant. If you're stagnant, then you're dying. And you know, I don't want to go gently. I forget whatever writer said it, but do not go gently into that dark night.
Oh, we know Batman. Dark Knight. But kind of like you said, not putting your identity just in, like, this goes back to the ego thing. Don't put who you are as not what you can clean and jerk, not what you can snatch. How you, like you said, make people feel when they meet you.
People are, you know, the average member's not going to remember what you deadlifted or what I clean and jerk, or, you know, or how many strict floors from Melissa did. They're going to remember how we made them feel day in and day out. Because we're providing a service, and that's what we want to do here. And that's, you know, the culture we want to create. I feel like I'm rambling. So what made you fly in during a pandemic when we were technically shut down?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that, you know, there's so many hard things about 2020 with COVID, but COVID provided me an opportunity out of chaos, maybe, to become a gym owner. And it's something I always want to do in the back of my head, but I was like, that's never going to happen. But I think that the reason why I initially wanted to do is that this gym in a lot of ways changed my life, and I value the community and the coaches and really believe in the mission here. And
over 30 minutes.
Good.
All right, we should have spliced these together. We'll figure it out.
Anyway, so I had no idea what I was getting into. Have not owned a small business before, but have kind of been
Thrown into the fire.
And learning as I go. And I think that's something that Ben and I say to each other a lot is like just doing the next right thing. And I agree, like the legacy and believing in this place that that we can positively impact lives and provide a space for people for mental health and physical health. And I do look forward to owning a gym without the layer of COVID because it is very, very stressful.
Yes.
Very, very stressful, but the next right thing just keeps us going.
Yeah.
So, and all the members, and it's.
Well, I think the biggest thing that me and Melissa have is we're here. And again, I wouldn't be here. Ben Smith opened the gym in August 2014, opening right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then was ready to get out, and Eric and Brendan Shea bought it, and I was in no position to own the gym at that point. And just one thing led to another. So without all these people in place that we can learn from or grow from, or giving us the opportunity, everything's a stepping stone. Life's a journey, and it's not about the end goal; it's about the journey. I just hope, hopefully we can make this a routine, and if one person gets something out of this, something they can take for them, or something they can try with it. Maybe they just want to visit Twin City Health. That's what the three of us recommended.
Oh yeah.
Then this, the 40 minutes we spent just here sitting, talking, and hanging out is more than worth it for me. So again, it's about creating a legacy one day at a time.
Thank you, Greg.
How do we close it?
I don't know.
Next Friday. Next Friday, we'll be doing one next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Been an honor to be on episode 1. I'm surprised that anybody going to listen to you and me talk
We'll
for
see.
47 minutes, but
voyage of our podcast.
Yeah, one at a time.
I think it's a place that everybody loves coming and can be, like I said, be themselves and have somewhat of make some of the best friendships they've probably ever made, and also learn what their body is really capable of, not what they just think it is. So.
Yeah, authentic community plus meeting fitness goals. So.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Batman. Thank you, Wonder Woman.